course, last but not least by any means, we had the return of the GOAT, John Jones, and he came in and defeated Cyril Gane in 2 minutes in the first round. Now, watching this fight was kind of crazy because to me, watching it live, it was interesting to see as to what was going to go on. And I was thinking, all right, is John Jones going to stand up with him at all? Which for the most part, he did not. Like, yeah, a few leg kicks were kind of exchanged between them and like maybe a few punches here and there. But for the most part, this was domination by John Jones. Like he took him down and just worked him. And Cyril Gane, when he was on the ground, had zero answers for what John Jones threw at him. I was actually kind of surprised because like for him to have just been, well, excluding the Tai Tuivasa fight, but the Francis fight where he got taken down and worked for majority of that fight, you would figure that he's, going back and working some of this stuff, like working the ground game and working trying to get out of this stuff. Now, mind you, it is John Jones, but at the same point in time, like it was very shocking how easy the fight looked for John Jones. To me, like that was, I think, the most crazy part of it. It was so shocking how easy he did it. We didn't even realize how he did it at first. We had to watch the replay and saw that he had his head bent underneath his chest and arm. You know what I mean? So like, I think the debate for John Jones being the GOAT is done. It's over. And I think everybody's acknowledged that. And I'm kind of glad that everybody has acknowledged that because I feel like trying to take away from that statement and what John Jones did on Saturday would be a shame. You know what I mean? Like he accomplished a lot. And I think that even prior to the fight on Saturday, he had accomplished quite a bit. I don't think that there was necessarily much debate prior to the fight. There's damn sure not any debate now that the fight's done. So, congratulations to John Jones. He went out there and performed.
Yeah. I was blown away because I remember watching the fight live. And as soon as he was able to get him in that guillotine and Cyril tap as fast as he did, I was like, the first thing I said was, what? Because I was just like you. I was very surprised that John was able to beat him that fast. Now, if John scored a TKO or a submission in the third or fourth round, I'd be like, okay, I wasn't predicting to finish, but hey, he's the GOAT. But the fact that he did it in the first round, not even like late first round, 2 minutes, I'm like, the guy's the GOAT. And I'm very looking forward to his fight with Stipe in the future. But to talk about the fight itself, I know people are they have like a little bit of criticisms, excuse me. They're saying like, oh, well, John looked a little slow with the striking. I'm like, well, it's 2 minutes. Like, the way I see it is like the dude's coming off a 3-year layoff. So, of course, the ring rust is there. John is just such a special fighter that, even with ring rust or not, he's still going to find a way to get the job done, as he did. And impressed the hell out of everybody because he got it done quick. And he set the fans home happy because I know the fans, they were all giddy. They're all happy because they're like, damn, I get to go home early. Yeah, so anyway.
Party.
Yeah, exactly. Cyril Gane, I'm not gonna lie to you, he shit the bed. He crapped his pants, and I feel like I don't know what went on with his corner and his coaching and his training for the fight, but whatever happened did not reflect in that fight at all. It was kind of like it was either Dana Cormier or Dana White, one of those two, that said that he got treated like a little kid in there. It is so unfortunate because I thought I didn't think he was going to win the fight, but I thought he was going to be more competitive, especially like in the first 2 rounds. But with that happening, now it's like, damn, like all these other fighters who could wrestle a little bit, now they're going to try to once again, hey, he's vulnerable on the ground. We're going to try to expose that. And I think that what Cyril Gane should do is take up Habib's offer, because I don't know if you saw that little post where Habib said he's going to offer.
I saw that. Yeah. He should.
Yeah, I agree. He needs to do it. And or B, the team that he's with now, he needs to win them. because they should have worked on his wrestling after the Francis fight.
I
Because
agree.
as what John said and what everybody else says who watches MMA thoroughly, hey, Francis is a novice level wrestler. Yes, Francis added a new wrinkle to his game, but Francis shouldn't be outworking you in wrestling for 3 rounds in a row. 3 rounds in a row. That was a big glaring hole. Obviously, John saw that, and you saw John was giddy. I'm coming out of retirement. You
He's
know?
diddy popping.
Yeah. He was walking up to and then so I feel like he should have worked on it for the Tattoo of Us fight. Then he should have worked on it for obviously for the John Jones fight. So he definitely needs a change of scenery. Because if he stays with the guy that he's with now, and if he stays and he doesn't take up people's offers to help his grappling and his wrestling, telling you, if he's not fighting a striker, he's always going to face this problem because people are going to be like, well, I'm just going to ankle pick him or single leg and drag his ass down, and I'm just going to do what John did. All right, first round finish. And I feel like it's a very unfortunate for Cyril Gane, but now Cyril Gane, are you happy to be here or do you want to be a world champion? And if you want to be a world champion, unfortunately, you have to. Now you got to get out of your comfort zone. Now you got to change the way you do things because the heavyweights right now, especially with John being on top, of course, they all want to be a champion. They're all willing to fight John Jones.
Yeah.
So, and I'm telling you, some of those guys got some grappling. And Cyril, he needs to go back and retool his grappling skills. So hopefully he could do that because I like Cyril Gane. I think he's a good fighter. But that night didn't show that at all. So let me ask you a question before we move on from this.
What up?
Early prediction, John versus Stipe.
Short prediction or kind of lengthy?
No, sure, because obviously, the fight is not even announced yet.
That's fair. My short prediction for John Jones versus Stipe is a second round submission.
Oh wow, okay. For John, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I don't think this fight. I honestly don't believe that this fight is going to go to decision because in my mind, some of these people like who are at heavyweight aren't as skilled as their lower weight class comparisons. You know what I mean? Like
very agreed.
Like Cyril Gane, for example. You're not gonna find a fighter like him at bantamweight ever. You're not.
I agree.
You're not gonna find a fighter like him at welterweight. The only reason why a fighter like him can exist at heavyweight is because of the way he strikes and the speed he has at heavyweight.
Right.
Like I think that John Jones is skilled enough to get a finish in round 2. I'll say round 3, but I'm going to go round 2. I want to be a little risky. So
okay, why not? And this is just like an early prediction. I'm pretty sure we have an early prediction again once the actual fight is announced.
Yeah, so overall with that card, it was cool to watch. We